the little drummer boy who healed a princess. In the old city of Porto-Velho, where the river runs wide and slow, lived a merchant prince named Dom Sebastião de Albuquerque. His shipping barges carried rubber and Brazil nuts down the Amazon, and his name was spoken with respect in every counting house from Belém to Manaus. But inside the white walls of his riverside palace, there was only silence. His daughter, Clara, 10 years old, had not spoken a single word since the yellow fever took her. Mother 2 years earlier. The child who once sang louder than the macaws now sat by the window all day, pale and motionless, staring at the brown water as if waiting for her mother's boat to return. Doctors came from Rio, from Lisbon, even from Boston. They poked and listened and prescribed tonics that tasted of iron. Nothing changed. Clara's voice had become a beautiful porcelain doll that breathed. One late afternoon in the rainy season, when the sky hung low and gray, a small boy slipped through the tradesman's gate at the back of the palace. He wore a shirt 3 sizes too big, tied at the waist with a piece of rope, and carried a battered tin can that had once held condensed milk. His name was Zeca, though most people only knew him as the little drummer of the market. He had no father, no mother, no shoes. He lived under the fish stalls, eating whatever the vendors threw away, and every day, he beat rhythms on his tin can with 2 sticks he had carved from guava branches. When he played, people stopped. Some laughed, some cried, some dropped coins. Music was the only thing the streets had not managed to steal from him. Zeca had seen Clara from the road many times, a small white figure behind glass. That afternoon the sky was crying too made him brave. He climbed the back wall, dropped into the garden, and walked straight to the veranda where Clara sat. He did not speak. He simply sat cross-legged on the tiles 5 steps away from her wheelchair, placed the tin between his knees, and began to play. Soft at first, like raindrops on leaves, then faster, like running barefoot on hot sand, then wild, like the river in flood. His sticks flew. His bare feet kept a second rhythm against the floor. His whole body became the drum. Clara's eyes, which had been fixed on nothing, moved, slowly, very slightly toward the sound. Zeca grinned, sweat running down his dusty face, and shifted the beat. Now it was the sound of a steamboat whistle, now the laughter of women washing clothes, now the heartbeat of the forest itself. He played everything he had ever heard and turned it into joy. A small sound escaped Clara's throat. Not a word, just air shaped like wonder. Zeca answered with a roll so fast the tin can blurred. Then he stopped dead. Silence rushed in. Clara's mouth opened, closed, opened again. And then, so soft that only Zeca and the rain could hear, she whispered, "Again." The servants heard it first. Then Dom Sebastião, working in his office, heard the commotion and ran. He arrived at the veranda, in time to see his silent daughter leaning forward in her chair, hands reaching toward a ragged street. Boy who was beating a dented milk tin like it was the finest snare drum in the world. Dom Sebastião's first instinct was fury. Who let this urchin in? But the fury died when he saw Clara's face. Her cheeks had color, her eyes were bright, and she was smiling, a shy, crooked, disbelieving smile, as if she had forgotten how and was remembering all at once. He did not shout. He stood in the doorway and listened while Zeca played another song. This one slow and sweet, the lullaby the old women sing to babies on the riverbanks. When it ended, Clara spoke again, louder this time. "Thank you." Zeca looked terrified, expecting to be thrown out. Instead, Dom Sebastião walked forward, knelt so his eyes were level with the boys, and said, "What is your name, little maestro?" "Zeca, senor." "Zeca, would you like to eat?" Zeca nodded so hard the tin can rolled away. That evening Zeca ate in the kitchen, 3 plates of feijoada, while upstairs, Dom Sebastião watched his daughter speak her first full sentence in 2 years. "Papa, may Zeca come back tomorrow?" He came back the next day, and the next, and the day after that. The guards were told to open the gate at 4 o'clock. A small room was prepared near the servants' quarters. New clothes appeared, simple but clean, and every afternoon the veranda became a concert hall. Zeca played. Clara listened. Then, one day, she lifted one hand and tapped the arm of her wheelchair, trying to copy the rhythm. The next day she tapped with both hands. A week later she asked for a small drum of her own. Months passed. The rainy season ended and the river fell. Clara's legs remained weak, but her arms grew strong from drumming. Her voice grew strong from singing along. She laughed when Zeca invented silly marches. She cried sometimes too, when he played the slow songs about mothers who never came home. But they were good tears, washing something clean. One golden afternoon, when the jacarandas were in bloom, Clara stood up, just for 5 seconds, long enough to take one step toward Zeca and hug him around the neck while he held her steady with drummers. arms that never tired. Dom Sebastian watched from the shadow of the columns, eyes wet. He who owned half the boats on the river understood, at last, that the thing he could not buy had been given freely by a boy who owned nothing but rhythm and kindness. Years later, when Clara walked again, when she danced at her wedding, when she taught her own children to drum on tabletops and cooking pots, people always asked about the miracle that healed her. She would smile and say only, "A little boy brought the music into a house that had forgotten how to sing, and the music stayed." And somewhere in the city, on market days, you can still hear a now-grown Zeka playing under the same fish stalls that once sheltered him. Only now the coins that rain into his hat are thrown by people who know the story, and every beat still carries the same message it did the first day he climbed the wall. Even the saddest heart can be tricked into dancing, if the right drummer comes along.